welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be examining 3 charts of spiritual people, so you will get to know how to examine such topics. The last video on the Aruda got the first place among the last 10 videos on the YouTube, so we will be talking here also extensively about the Aruda Lagna, but from the perspective of spirituality. The whole idea of spirituality is quite complex because what it means to be spiritual. I always stick to the idea that this is just the rising of consciousness and how it has to do with the rising of ethics or the morals, the rules. Does it mean that when we rise the consciousness also our ethics are going up? Because in the Vedic philosophy these two are separate. We have Dharma, which is more about the ethics, and we have the Moksha, which is the core spirituality. So based on that Moksha concept we could say that one is spiritual who is less and less attached because he's going in that path of liberation. But also to be less attached, we have to be attached to something higher. This was the concept taught by Srila Prabhupada, the concept of higher taste. To be able to resign from something lower, we have to be attached to something higher. Because the soul is Ananda Rupa, is always seeking for enjoyment. So we need to have some higher taste, some higher enjoyment to be able to resign from some more vulgar types of enjoyment. But do we have also the guarantee that if we are going in that sattva direction, we will be able to transcend the sattva, right? Because we have something like Shuddha sattva, which is meaning transcending the mode of goodness. So if we are rising our consciousness, do we have that guarantee that we will also be able to, for a long term, transcend the sattva guna? Or this may be one-way street. Maybe there is the key to open that door somewhere before, so we could be stuck in that deva mentality, the god mentality of the very pure enjoyment but not able to transcend this enjoyment. So less attachment, better ethics and higher consciousness, but are we able to really talk about the spirituality without the metaphysics? If you delete the metaphysics, be it the soul concept or some higher plane, higher dimension or some form of energy, then you are just left with materialism, and then you have to restrict the whole concept of spirituality to just ethics. But then it is again Dharma. In Vedic philosophy we are talking about the moksha. So there has to be some higher plane. Therefore we have to introduce some form of metaphysics. This normally is opening after the death. So are we going to Kailash? Are we talking about the Goloka, maybe the Christian heaven, or just we are merging into the Advaita Brahman? There has to be some higher plane. If we are talking about the transcendence, the moksha, or the spirituality from that Vedic perspective. So when we go to the rules, the first one would be seeing the Karakamsha, which is the Atmakaraka Indi Navamsha, and what is the distance between Atmakaraka Indi Navamsha to the Navamsha Ascendant. So Navamsha is the separate chart, Atmakaraka is the planet with the highest degrees, so we need to take that planet to that Navamsha chart and count how many houses are from this planet to the Navamsha Ascendant. This shows guide to our brain. This is the link between the intelligence and the soul, and also this is the Devata, providing the light so the brain is impelled for action. And we say that when Atmakaraka is in the second house, then we are talking about the sadhu who is being reborn. The sadhu is the monk or very spiritual, renounced person. The second point is just the Aruda. So the first from Aruda Lagna, which is showing to what kind of group we belong to, what is our color in the society. So the Aruda related to Sun will show organized spirituality, and Aruda related to nodes will show some kind of not so much organized spirituality. It could be some mysticism or some esoteric. So I would say that this could be from lower worlds because there is more darkness, but also there are many spiritual people. We say that Prahlad Maharaj is in the Talas, and the Devata, the sun, could be something like Devas. This is more organized religion, more coming from the Deva, the light, and so on. Now, in the older times, in the Vedic times, they believed that for real spirituality, you have to renounce the rajas. Therefore, Mercury and Venus, the planets who are in the mode of rajas. The rajas is basically all about the enjoyment, right? The Venus is showing the comforts, the relationships, and Mercury is more about the career life, money, and status. So you need to renounce that to be spiritual. That was the concept then. So they believed that third and sixth from Aruda Lagna if you have Mercury and Venus there, then you are able to renounce these rajas and therefore you can be spiritual. In current times, which is filled with consumption and capitalism, it is hard to believe that, and the people want to take the both worlds. They want to have enjoyment of rajas and also of spirituality. So based on this Vedic philosophy, it is very hard to unify these two concepts. So for true spirituality, we are seeking rejection of rajas. Third and sixth from Arudha Lagna has to reject this Mercury and Venus. Then the Sun is very important for spirituality because it shows enlightenment. So therefore, Sun is exalted in Aries and own sign in Leo. These are natural first and fifth. So this, as taught in the Raja webinars by my Guruji, V.S.T. Larsen, the first and fifth has to also be very strong to be able to have a nice attitude, a long-term attitude, to be able to sustain this spiritual part in our life. So the first example is of Lino Rulli. He was the Italian-American person. He was taught this Catholic faith by the mother, and also he had some already spiritual or religious people in his family. So in childhood he was very spiritual. Then in the teenage years he went the atheist mode, but in the college he lost the best friend to suicide, and it was so traumatic experience for him. He couldn't find any respite, any relief from this feeling of sadness he had. So he couldn't sleep. He was always sleeping with the light. And then he found that the only thing which could help him in that situation was going back to the religion, to the faith, to the prayer. So he became again into the religion and spirituality. And then this expanded to first being a teacher of religion, and then he went into this Venus-Mercury mode when it comes to form of narrative of career life, because he was into the radio and then he was into this TV personality. So this expanded this teaching, this mission into media very much, into this Venusian, we could say, tool. Here we have Atma Karaka in the second house. This is the Sadhu reborn, exactly that what we were talking in the beginning. We have Moon in 12th, Saturn in 4th aspecting the Lagna. Exactly the Brahmana yoga is there. So if a Moon is in Dushtana and Saturn is aspecting the Lagna, then this high Brahmana, the spiritual people, the monk, the philosopher, the person who is asking why, the reflection is coming there into the person. And then we have Mercury and Venus in 6th from Arudha Lagna. Interestingly, they also aspect the Arudha Lagna, so therefore person is rejecting the rajas but also working in the rajas. So he is preaching spirituality as his mission through the tools or vahana of media and TV and radio and so on. And then we could conclude this Sun and Ketu, planets full of light and sattvic, or Ketu is exalted here, therefore it's sattvic also, because normally Ketu is in Tamas, nodes are in Tamas, in the 9th house. So the nature, right? 5th, 9th, Lagna, Indi Navamsha is the nature. 9th house is especially about the attitude towards our elders, gurus. So this is also adding to that enlightened personality. Now let's see some other rules. Dispositor of the Lagneshan Atma Karaka is also very important to analyze. We say that if it's in Dushtana, then the prana of the person goes out, and this is making the person spiritual. So we could say that the person is not interested in money. This could be beggar or spiritual person, depending on the other yogas, especially if the sattva is there. Because if there is no rajas, one can go into tamas. So to be able to stay in the sattva, go up, you need to have this possibility, you need to have these resources to draw. So normally we say if it's a Lagna Lord, Atma Karaka Dispositor in Dushtana, then the person is living this renounced life. Now we need to say a little bit about the Sadhu Yoga, because if Moon is the mind, and for example, if it's related to Mercury and Venus, it gives a very creative person, full of rajas. This can also make person very fast in thinking, or there can be some obsessions there. So if it's negative, Jupiter is making the person very spiritual, because it will exalt the Jupiter, because Jupiter is exalted in the Cancer. Whilst for the Saturn, in the Shastra it says that this is also bringing that philosophical nature, the sadhu, the spiritual person, so we need to analyze that moon too. We have the next example of Rosa Guerrero, Mexican-American person who was into dancing, and she was basically using that for mainly to the diversity cultures, but also she was very much cooperating with the Catholic Church, so there was also the spiritual interest there. So she founded this international dance group and was called the Dancing Missionary. She was also kind of a historian, which is also moon related. She began the dancing at the age of 5, and she was also involved in the cinematography, so she was also creating the films, the movies about the culture's diversity. So for this we need the moon, and moon is in the 5th in the Navamsha, so the cultures, history, diversity is all there. We have a 10th lord related to career, Mars and Ketu, Pisacha yoga. This is often causing person to dance. And what most important, we have 4 planets together. This is the Pravraja yoga. We'll be speaking about that in a minute. 3rd and 6th, again, we have Mercury and Venus, so the Rajas is rejected. We have the Sadhu Yoga, the Moon with the Saturn, and Dispositor of Atmakaraka and Lagna Lord are in 12th house in Dushtana. This is completing the yogas for spirituality. When we talk about the Navamsha, the Virgo-Pisces axis is also very important. The symbolism of fishes, ocean, and this Mother Mary is present in many, many cultures. In Catholic version of Christianity is also much very there. We need to also talk about the Ruchaka yoga, so when Mars is strong in Kendra, in own sign, so Aries or Scorpio, or exaltation, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, then this is bringing that interest or ability in mantra, tantra, yantra, similar to Trikona to the Karakamsha, right? So 1st, 5, and 9 from Atmakaraka in Navamsha, if they are malefic, so also person can provide remedies, and through these remedies can help other people. So when we talk about 4 planets together, this is the Pravraja yoga. Normally it has to be strong in Kendra. If not, then it shows the fallen sadhu, so there will be some vice present in previous life, which can also manifest in this life. So the strongest graha will show the type of this Pravraja yoga, and combustion may show that one is leaving the Pravraja yoga and it can turn to Raja Yoga, to success. If you like this video so far, please let me know by hitting the thumbs up. In this way, you are also pushing this video in this jungle of this YouTube algorithm. And if you would like to see regularly such videos on Vedic astrology, then click the subscribe button with the bell notification on. And now let's go back to this analysis. So this is the last chart. This is the Terence McKenna. He was into shamanism and psychoactive, altering consciousness drugs, plants like DMT and psilocybin, which is popular mushrooms, without any commentary to usefulness of such spiritual tactics. Let's stay neutral and go to the analysis. We have Pravraja yoga in the Lagna, it's very strong, and 12th lord is also with the Lagnesha, so there is the spiritual yoga. In the Navamsha, Atmakaraka is in Pisces, so this is the exact yoga we were talking about. So we have the Ruchayaka yoga, Mars and Kendra very strong in own sign. This is also the Pisacha yoga, right? Mars and Ketu. We have a strong Lagna and strong 5th house, right? 5th lord is Ketu, Lagna lord is Mars, so we have this Ruchaka yoga also there. So this chart is really loaded with the very mystical type of yogas, therefore this person was into the shamanism. He has this drug yoga, Sun and Rahu, dealing with poison in Rashi, and also in the Navamsha. In the Navamsha, Lagna lord is Sun aspected by the Rahu. And 6 from Aruda Lagna is loaded by Saturn, so there is this association with drugs. We see that 8th lord afflicted is in the Lagna. It's also 6th lord there, so this is Lagna, then it's showing the body per the houses, so the Lagna is the head or the brain, and unfortunately the person got the brain cancer, and that was the cause of his demise. We can see that 3rd from the Aruda Lagna, which shows circumstances of that, is aspected by the Cancer, giving yoga, Jupiter and Rahu. So we see that there must be many levels agreeing for the spirituality. Moon, which is the mind, the yogas are showing the circumstances. Atmakaraka is the spirit and houses are showing the attitude. Karaka, like Jupiter, is showing the resources and abilities, and Arudas will show the lifestyle. Okay guys, so that's gonna be it from me. I hope you find this video, how to see the spirituality with these nice 3 examples, interesting or at least entertaining. If you do, please don't forget to click the thumbs up. You're helping me with this algorithm to make this video more visible on this platform. Also subscribe to see more videos like this on your YouTube channel. Thanks for watching till the end and being here, and see you in the next one.